welcome back po. Welcome back to Lira in Law. I am your host, Lira Simong Kapatpat. I'm a solicitor with Douglas Simon Solicitors of over 3 decades experience in the United Kingdom practicing law. Now, let's launch into our topic. Dahil malaking topic nga natin ngayon, we must not waste any time. So, can you divorce in the United Kingdom if married in the Philippines? Okay? Now, so tingnan natin. There are different types of scenarios, of course, no? Sabihin natin, kinasal kayo sa atin, yun ang una-una. You married in the Philippines. Either nandito kayong pareho, ikaw at yung asawa mo nandito nga, or yung sabihin natin, nandito ka, pero ang asawa mo nasa Pilipinas. Okay? Or anywhere else, frankly. So, kasal kayo sa atin, either nandito nga kayo o naiwan yung asawa nyo nga sa atin. Can you divorce in the United Kingdom? That is such a common question that I get asked. No? The answer is yes, you can. No? Kahit nga kinasal kayo sa atin. But, as usual, there are conditions, but subject to certain conditions. So, tingnan nga natin. Ang unang-una pong kailangan yung tingnan o kailangan yung pag-isipan the issue of what's called jurisdiction. So, pwede nyo bang gamitin yung batas dito, no? And that is the relevant law. I mean, sabi ko nga sa mga abogado ko, no, you always need, unang-una, you always need to have a look at the law. Batas muna. And then you apply the law to the facts, no? So, tingnan na natin yung batas, okay? So, yung batas, so it's under what's called the Domicile Matrimonial Proceedings Act 1973. Let me see if I can just bring that up for you, yung batas nga mismo. So, makikita nyo, no? If I can find it. Sandali nga lang, tingnan natin. If I can't find it, then I'm just going to read it to you. So, tingnan ko nga if I can find that. Sandali lang po, saglit lang ha. Looking for that. So, okay. Pero, ito no. So, I'll read it to you. Okay, there's and I'll emphasize nga the section that's often the section that's relevant to my client. So, makikita nyo, it's called the Domicile and Matrimonial Proceedings Act 1973. So, it's not new law, no? So, sabi nga dito, the court, yung korte nga dito, shall have jurisdiction to entertain proceedings for divorce or judicial separation. Of course, yung divorce ang pinag-usapan nga natin. If and only if, on the date of the application, no, pagka pinasok yung application, tapos nilista niya, A, both parties to marriage are habitually resident in England and Wales. B, both parties to marriage were last habitually resident in England and Wales, and one of them continues to reside there in England and Wales. C, the respondent is habitually resident in England and Wales. So yung asawa nyo, for example, you're the applicant, you're the petitioner, no? In joint application only, either of the parties to the marriage is habitually resident in England and Wales. Now D, that's it. So that's itong section na ito. This is the one I use most of, no? The applicant is habitually, so kayo, no, kung kayo nga applicant or petitioner in the olden days, the applicant is habitually resident in England and Wales and has resided there for at least 1 year immediately before the application was made. Titingnan natin, babalik tayo doon, no? And then E goes on, the applicant is domiciled. There's a difference between domicile and habitual residence. Domiciled and habitually resident in England and Wales and has resided there for at least 6 months immediately before the application was made. Or F, both parties to marriage are domiciled in England and Wales, or either of the parties to marriage is domiciled in England and Wales. So lots of words. But tingnan natin, let's unpack it a little bit, no? Ano ba ibig sabihin? Yung nga sabi ko, there's a difference between domicile and habitual residence. But for most people, it doesn't really, for most people actually it's the same, no? Or both would apply, but it's more the practical issue really. So one way of looking at it is domicile is more concerned with the legal aspect, for example, and habitual residence is fact. Some where's your life is centered. Anong bansa? You can have a different domicile to habitual where you are from habitually resident. So, for example, it could be na you are domiciled in the Philippines, but you're habitually resident in the United Kingdom. That happens a lot, actually. So kung ang kaso nyo nga, nandito nga kayo. So sabihin natin, matagal na kayo dito, dito kayo nakatira, dito kayo nagtatrabaho, nandito mga anak nyo. Yung nga lang meron pa rin kayong planong umuwi sa atin, meron kayo pa rin mga lupa, bahay nga sa atin, and you may consider yourself domiciled nga in the Philippines, for example, but habitually resident in the United Kingdom. But you don't need to do both. You don't need to have both in order to petition for divorce. So let's look at yung point D, yung binasa ko kanina. So let me just read that again for you. So, Domicile and Budgetary Proceedings Act 1973 to do nga with jurisdiction. Sabi doon D, the applicant is habitually, the applicant, kayo, no, you're the one petitioning for divorce, is habitually resident in England and Wales and has resided there for at least 1 year immediately before the application was made. Now, tingnan natin to. Now, yung nga, kung dito kayo nagtatrabaho, dito, sabihin natin nanditong mga anak nyo, o kahit nga wala, no? So, sabihin natin, nagtatrabaho nga kayo dito, you don't have indefinite leave to remain. No? You don't have to have indefinite leave to remain. Maraming mga kalayante, sabi nila, akala ko, kailangan British muna ako. No. So, you don't have to have British citizenship. You don't even have to have indefinite leave to remain in the United Kingdom to be considered habitually resident, no, in the UK. So sabihin natin, dumating nga kayo dito as a worker, no, tier 2 or skilled worker. Okay? Matagal na nga kayo dito, over 1 year. Yung under point D, no, over 1 year dito kayo. So you now consider UK to be your home. Sabihin natin, meron kayong panibagong relasyon nga dito, you intending to also, in due course, apply for indefinite leave to remain. So, it's not simply now na dito kayo nagtatrabaho, umuwi kayo sa atin, but dito na kayo nakatira. You treat the UK to be your home. Then, chances are na you are then considered by the court to be habitually resident in the UK. Pero wala pa kayong indefinite. Hindi nga din pa kayo British, no? So you can be in employment, no, over 12 months nga, as long as you consider the UK to be your home. So you're habitually resident in the United Kingdom. Kung mapapakita nyo yun, then the court should regard that they have jurisdiction. So pwede nyong gamitin yung batas nga dito. Now, it becomes complicated though. Yung pinag-usapan nga natin last week, no? If you get a divorce in the UK, titignan nga natin proseso mamaya. Pero if you get a divorce in the United Kingdom, that is effective, of course, as long as you follow all the process nga in the UK. Okay? And everywhere else, really, apart from the Philippines. Dahil sa Pilipinas nga ngayon, there's no divorce. No? They would only accept your divorce if you can successfully apply for recognition of that decree. Pero komplikado nga yun sa atin. And then there's the issue of you're Filipino, or you're alien, or you're foreign national. But at the moment, so kung divorce nga kayo dito, hindi naman ibig sabihin na divorce kayo sa atin, because the Philippine law at the moment does not recognize divorce. But okay, let's concentrate though about the process in the United Kingdom. So sabihin natin, nandito na nga kayo, matagal na kayo dito, by that I mean over 1 year na kayo dito, you treat the United Kingdom to be your home. This is where you are habitually resident. Now, let's have a look at what you need to do. No? Again, of course, importante nga that we deal with this practically. So sabihin natin, you have then, the court has jurisdiction. Ang kailangan nyo, there are two main things na kailangan nyo. Yung marriage contract nyo, no, na galing sa before it was called NSO, ngayon it's now the PSA. Okay, and some people they keep their old original marriage contract nga, but kung wala na hindi nyo makita, napunit, no, then you can get one actually from the PSA. You can apply for it. They can even post it to you. So yun ang kailangan nyo, marriage contract. Now, the good thing is yung marriage contract sa atin, usually, it is, no, in Tagalog and in English. So you do not need a translation. Pero kung hindi nga English, then kailangan you need to get it translated, but you need to get it formally translated. It needs to be certified by the relevant translator nga. Yun. Kailangan nyo din address ng asawa nyo nasa atin. Importante po yun. Otherwise, the court will say, well, how do you serve them? Kung pwede, also get their email address. Okay? Of course, kung meron kong telephone number, then even better. The court would not need that, but just in case kailangan nyo siyang tawagan, dahil gusto nyo siguro dumating nga yung email na galing sa korte. So, kung meron kayong email, meron din siyang email, it's much faster. Because then you don't have to deal with the post. You can still post documents, no post-divorce applications nga, yung nga lang yung mabagal. And it's easier, of course, to send it by email, and then it's nearly instantaneous, the email. You can also check, most of you will know there's a tick box, to see if they've read it or it's been delivered safely nga. So you can do all that also online. And petitions are now submitted nga online. Papakita ko nga sa inyo anong itsura mamaya, So, nagbago na din po ang batas in April 2022. So actually not too long ago, over a year ago, So now, it's no-fault divorce now. So dati, kailangan nyo sabihin, you need to show in order to establish irretrievable breakdown of marriage. Dati, pre-2022, April, kailangan pakita either that you've been separated for more than 5 years or you're separated more than 2 years, but the other person is in agreement, or that you were your husband deserted you, or that he committed he or she committed adultery or unreasonable behavior. So for most of the time, kailangan siyang bintangan. That was done away with in April 2022. Ngayon, no-fault divorce na nga. So it's enough to say the marriage has irretrievably broken down. So hindi mo siya kailangan bintangan. In fact, they've gone one step further, and that is you can even petition for divorce jointly. So you both applicants, if you like, which may be kind of useful. There's no one person who started it. You both started it. Now, you need to pay fee. Yung korte, the fee is payable to HMCTS. Ang bayad nga ngayon is £593. Unless you're exempt. By that, I mean, if you're getting some benefits now, for example, you can prove it, But otherwise, it's £593. Now, so let's look at the petition itself. So, titignan muna natin yung buong petition, okay? And then I will look at two specific sections nga. Section 4, it's to details of marriage, and Section 5, jurisdiction. So, papakita ko sa inyo yung buong anong itsura ng petition. Mahaba nga lang. That's why I'm not going to go through it to each, line by line with you, because that will mean nandito tayo hanggang alas 12, So, tingnan natin to. So, itong first page, makikita nyo sa harap na application for divorce or dissolution. So ending a civil partnership, for example, if you have a same-sex relationship na. So, for example, ito, makikita nyo diyan, so you can of course also marry in the United Kingdom if you have same-sex relationship, by the way. And so page 1 po ito, Now, I'll just scroll through all the pages for you, okay? So you see it through. So yeah, 1.3. I'll keep this actually on our online, So kung gusto makita, if you want to look at it nga later on, and then print it even, hindi problema. So I will leave that online. Mahaba nga lang. Now, there are two sections in the petition that I want to look at, especially nga for you. So, una nga, Section 4. Titingnan ko nga lang, if I can just bring up Section 4 nga lang muna. Ito po, okay? So, nasa taas, makikita nyo, Section 4, details of marriage or civil partnership. Okay? So, 4.1, did your marriage or civil partnership take place outside the United Kingdom? You have to take yes kung doon kayo nasa sa Pilipinas, Are you making a separate application to issue without your marriage or civil partnership certificate? Ibig sabihin, wala sa inyong marriage contract, Try your best to get your marriage contract, because otherwise, kailangan magpasok ng ng application, it has to go to the judge. It takes a much longer time. I've only had to make this application issuing without the marriage certificate for, I don't know, a couple of times in my whole career, of over 30 years, because we try our level best to get nga the petition. In the olden days, matagal na nga silang kinasal, then it could be that it's not recorded. That also happens. But try your best to get nga your marriage contract from the PSA. It's just far easier, far cheaper, far faster nga to get it rather than make this application na wala ka nga. But yung nga 4.1, so when they say did your marriage take place outside the UK, easy question and therefore easy answer also. The answer is yes, kung kinasal nga kayo sa Pilipinas. So don't worry that that they may say, oh, wala, there's no jurisdiction because you're married outside the United Kingdom. Hindi po yung tama. Okay? You can petition for divorce even if you're married in the Philippines, even though at the moment there's no recognition of divorce in the Philippines. You can petition in the United Kingdom for divorce as long as you satisfy nga the various factors, the various conditions. Main thing is yung jurisdiction. So, sabihin natin bumibisita nga lang kayo dito. You're a visitor. You enter the United Kingdom as a visitor. You do not regard, you're not living in the United Kingdom. Bumibisita nga lang kayo. Of course, the court will not have jurisdiction. So, hindi kayo pwedeng mag-issue nga dito because you will not be what's called habitually resident in the United Kingdom because of that. But otherwise, as I say, kung dito na nga kayo nakatira and you regard the UK to be your home and you've been living here more than 1 year, kahit nandun asawa niyo sa atin, nandito nga kayo, you can probably petition for divorce because the court would have a jurisdiction nga, okay? But that it would be valid in the UK and everywhere else, frankly, but hindi nga po sa Pilipinas. Now, jurisdiction, just to look at that again, Section 5. Titignan ko if I can just show you Section 5 of the petition itself. Yung petition nga tinitingnan natin. So, let me just see if I can bring up Section 5. Okay, ito po, Section 5. Why this court can deal with your case? In brackets, jurisdiction. That's exactly what we were discussing now. And so, it explains there even, anong ibig sabihin habitual residence? Anong ibig sabihin ng domicile? And you can see there yung mga questions na. So they tell you what does habitual residence mean? And they will also tell you, just see if I can just read to you nga yung ang ibig sabihin. So habitual residence, sabi nga nila, your habitual residence is the place in which your life is mainly based. You must be settled there and intend to stay settled there. So settled does not mean indefinitely to remain. Just means that it's settled as in you regard the United Kingdom to be your home. Some of the following may apply. Sabi nga nila, you work there, you own property, have your children in school there, and your main family life takes place there. And then it then goes on to explain nga anong ibig sabihin ng domicile. But if you don't have to be domiciled and habitually resident in the United Kingdom. It's enough if you are habitually resident in the United Kingdom. So kailangan nyo sabihin nga sa korte, why do you think that they have jurisdiction to deal with your matter? And as I say, most of the time, I would say siguro 75% of the time, it's the reason for the court, the reason I say the court has jurisdiction over my client's petition nga is yung D under the 73 Act, which is the applicant, cliente ko, is habitually resident in England and Wales and has resided there for at least 1 year immediately before the application is made. That's usually the one that I use. Actually, I would, as I say, 75% of the time. And that's probably the one that you're going to use kung dumating nga kayo dito kayo nagtatrabaho, pero you're here on an employment visa nga, but you now regard the UK to be your home. Sabihin natin, meron nga kayong relasyon dito, and you intend actually to then later on apply for indefinite leave to remain if that's something that you want to do nga for the future, no? So what will then happen is, sabihin natin, nasa inyo nga yung address ng asawa nyo, email address also. You also have your marriage contract nga. Kinumpleto nyo na yung petition, no? And as I've said, iiwan ko yung divorce application nga online in case you want to download it. So, and you can study it or indeed, print it, you can use it. So sabihin natin, you've downloaded it, you've completed it, pinasok nyo na online, nagbayad na kayo ng 593. Ano nang mangyayari? What then happens is the court will acknowledge it, tapos you can send also a copy of the petition online, even, no? By email, no? To your partner, to yung asawa niyo sa Pilipinas. And then it's up to them. They can do a number of things. They can either ignore it, it happens. They can say, no, hindi yan pwede. No, I think we should still get back together, or we're still in a relationship. Or they may say, yeah, okay, yeah. I think it's a good idea. Wala na nga kami. So they can do any one of those things. Now, if they don't do anything, then you're required to show the court that indeed you have you've served them with the documents. Kailangan yung pakita nga na talaga nakuha na nila. So make sure na pagka nakapapadala kayong email, tick the receipt box, the delivered box, no? So meron kayong mapapakita sa korte, yeah, definitely pinadala ko nga, no? Or kung magpapadala ko by post, then make sure you send it by some kind of registered special delivery, or Pilipinas, I suppose, by courier, no? So make sure meron nga kayong ebidensya na talagang pinadala nyo na. Okay? So kung hindi pa rin sila sumagot, then you can then make an application to the court for what's called deemed or substituted service. Basically, sasabihin nyo sa korte, look, pinadala ko na, hindi nga lang sila sumasagot, pero alam ko, nakuha nila. Tingnan nyo itong mga resibo namin. Now, makumbinsi nyo korte na talagang naipadala nyo na, hindi nga lang siya sumasagot, then the court will likely make an order for what's called deemed or substituted service. So basically, sasabihin nyo, where we think that he definitely received it, or she definitely received it, so you can proceed, for example, with the divorce. So hindi nyo na sila kailangan. So kahit hindi nga sila pumirma, pwede nyo pa rin ituloy yung petition nyo, yung divorce nyo nga. And then the next step is the court will then, there's some time not to wait. The court will then, you then need to make an application for also a conditional order. In the olden days, it was called decree nisi, and then after a certain amount of time, after the conditional order, then you need to apply for the final order. In the olden days, the decree absolute. Pagka nakuha niyo ng final order, you are then divorced. Ang ibig sabihin, kung gusto niyo paksa nga dito, you can do that. No? So that's kind of if you like, a summary, really. There's a bit more actually to divorce proceedings than that, but it's a summary of what you need to look at. But for my clients nga, main concern nga sa kanila is, does the court have jurisdiction? No? Kinasal kami sa atin, sa Pilipinas, can the court in the UK, dahil dito na ako nakatira, can they deal with my divorce? The answer is yes. No? And it is, it always astonishes me that people think that you can't dahil nga kinasal nga sa Pilipinas. No? So I hope that clarifies a few things. Now, I hope you enjoyed that. No, I did. So, ang bilis-bilis ko magsalita. We have to pack in so much because we also have lots and lots of great questions and really big questions. It's great actually. It's clear na you engage nga, no, at saka talagang meron ka nga kayong mga questions, and pagka meron kayong questions, nakakatulong. Tapos i-feature nga natin, nasagot ko nga, and nakakatulong nga din yun sa mga ibang tao, hopefully, no, who may be actually who may be faced with the same problem, no? So but yung tanungan section natin mamaya. But before that, comes my favorite part of the show, of our show nga, and that is of course the batian section, no? And so hopefully may babati sa akin. I really enjoy your hellos. So tingnan natin, hopefully may